You ever fall so hard that you start to wonder if the ground was built just for you? That feeling when the world laughs, the lights dim, and every voice in your head starts whispering, "You're done." But what if I told you that moment wasn't your ending? What if failure wasn't the lock, but the key? The truth is, sometimes the door you've been praying for only opens when you crash through the wrong one first. Failure is not the end, it's the edit. Every time you fall, the world isn't crossing you out. It's rewriting your story in bolder ink. You're not broken, you're being refined. Every mistake, every rejection, every door slammed in your face is not a dead end. It's redirection. It's life saying, not this way, go higher. The pain that comes with failure is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the sound of your potential being sharpened, the fire molding you into something unshakable. You are not losing, you are learning how to rise with precision. Pain is proof that you're moving. The only people who don't hurt are the ones who never try. That burn inside you, that sting after defeat, that's not weakness, that's energy. It's proof you're alive, evolving, shifting from who you were into who you're meant to be. The moments when everything falls apart are the same moments when you're being rebuilt. You have to stop running from pain and start using it as fuel. Let it push you, let it wake you, because the ones who survive failure are the ones who learn how to make pain work for them, not against them. Rejection is divine redirection. The doors that close on you aren't meant to trap you, they're steering you. Every no is setting you up for a bigger wise. The world may not see your path, but that's because it's yours alone. The detours, the setbacks, the heartbreaks, they all exist to guide you to the exact moment where everything clicks. The universe doesn't block what belongs to you. It just waits until you're strong enough to carry it. Every rejection you face is a reminder that destiny is not delayed, it's being designed. Confidence isn't given, it's forged. You don't earn strength by winning, you earn it by surviving what was meant to break you. Real confidence is built when you stand in the ashes of failure and decide you're still worthy. It's born in the silence when no one believes, when no one's clapping, when you're alone but still pushing forward. That's where you meet your real self. When you stop needing approval and start moving like you already have it, you become unstoppable. The world bends for the person who refuses to bow to fear. Failure doesn't close doors, it opens the right one. Every fall strips away the false paths, the wrong people, the empty promises, until all that's left is truth. You walk through that final door not because it was easy, but because it was meant for you. You find your power there in the rubble of what didn't work out. That's where your real story begins. When you stop fearing failure, you stop being controlled by it. You realize every setback was an invitation to grow, to evolve, to step into the version of yourself that was never meant to quit. Pain is proof that you are in motion. The ones who never move never hurt. Comfort is the drug that kills ambition. The moment you start to feel that sting, that ache deep inside your chest, that's not weakness speaking. That's growth tearing through the walls of your limits. Every fall, every bruise, every sleepless night is a sign that you're pushing beyond what once defined you. The hurt you feel right now is the echo of movement, the rhythm of transformation. You are not losing, you are becoming something sharper, stronger, and more precise. Standing still never breaks you because standing still never challenges you. It's only when you take risks, when you step into the unknown. That pain appears to test your resolve, and that test is sacred. The world doesn't hand greatness to those who wait. It forges it in those who dare to fall. You can't evolve without pressure, can't rise without the burn. Pain is not your enemy, it's your coach. It teaches you where you still need to grow, where you've been holding back, where you've been settling for less. Most people run from pain. They hide behind comfort, pretending that peace and purpose are the same thing. But comfort breeds stagnation. Pain is the proof that you are still fighting, still stretching, still reaching for something more than ordinary. The ones who become legends are the ones who use pain as a weapon, not a wound. They take every scar and turn it into a symbol of progress. That's what separates those who talk about their dreams from those who live them. The burn in your chest, the exhaustion in your body, the doubt in your mind, those are not signs to quit. They are signals that you are still alive in the fight. Growth has a cost, and pain is the currency. The more you endure, the more you expand. You start to understand that struggle doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to expose your potential. Every time you rise after a fall, you prove that pain can't own you. You own it. So when it hurts, keep going. When you fall, stand taller. When the world laughs, go silent and work harder. The storm isn't against you, it's shaping you. Every ache, every tear, every hit you take is molding the version of you that can't be stopped. Because pain, no matter how brutal, is always a sign of motion. And motion means you're alive, you're fighting, and you're still on the path to something greater. Silence is not emptiness, it's the space where true power begins to grow. When the noise fades and the crowd disappears, that's when you meet the rawest version of yourself. In that quiet, there are no lies, no masks, no distractions, just the sound of your own potential whispering back at you. It's uncomfortable, even painful, to sit in that stillness after failure. But that's where clarity is born. That's where your purpose starts to take shape. Silence doesn't mean the world forgot you. It means you've been given the room to rebuild without interruption. When no one believes in you, that's when you learn to believe louder. You start creating not for approval, but for truth. The voices that mocked you, the doubts that haunted you, they start to fade when you realize that the only validation that matters comes from within. The quiet moments are not punishment, they're the training ground of visionaries. It's in that isolation that you hear your real thoughts, your real fears, your real drive. Most people can't handle silence because it forces them to confront who they really are. But that's exactly why you need it. In silence, vision becomes sharp. The noise of the world blurs your focus, fills your head with expectations, and drowns your instincts. When everything goes quiet, you begin to see the path that was meant for you, not the one others tried to design. The absence of applause doesn't mean you failed. It means you've entered the phase where real work begins. The world doesn't clap for seeds planted underground. But once they grow, once they break the surface, everyone suddenly wants to claim they saw it coming. Failure can make you feel invisible, but that invisibility is your advantage. When nobody's watching, you're free to experiment, to fall, to rebuild without judgment. You can refine your vision in peace. You can create something pure, something untouched by the opinions of people who never risked anything. Greatness doesn't grow in the spotlight. It grows in the shadows, nurtured by silence and perseverance. The most powerful voices the world has ever heard were first ignored, misunderstood, or dismissed. So when the world goes quiet, don't panic, listen. That silence is not the sound of defeat, it's the sound of rebirth. It's the moment before your next breakthrough, the breath before your next rise. Let that silence shape you, let it harden your focus and sharpen your will. Because the loudest voices, the ones that shake the world, are born from people who learned to speak clearly when no one else was listening. Rejection is not a wall, it is a turning point carved by purpose. Every time something slips out of your hands, it is not because you were unworthy, it is because it was never meant to stay. The world has a way of removing what doesn't align with your destiny, even when you can't see it in the moment. Closed doors are not the universe ignoring you. They are the universe guiding you away from what would have limited you. What feels like loss is often direction in disguise, a necessary reroute toward what will actually fulfill you. The truth is, rejection hurts because we cling to what feels familiar. We attach our worth to outcomes, to people, to moments that were never built to last. But when something breaks away, it's often because it no longer matches the person you are becoming. Every rejection is a mirror showing you that you've outgrown something. You can fight it, or you can listen to it. You can drown in disappointment, or you can rise and understand that rejection is proof that you're being redirected toward higher ground. Sometimes what you wanted so badly would have destroyed your vision if you had received it too soon. The timing of your life is not a mistake. The delay, the silence, this missed opportunity, it's not failure, it's formation. You are being shaped to handle something bigger, something that demands more strength, more discipline, and more clarity. Rejection is not the end of your story. It is the pause before the rewrite. It's the moment life tests if you'll keep walking even when the path disappears beneath your feet. Rejection exposes the difference between those who depend on validation and those who depend on vision. Validation fades when applause stops, but vision keeps burning even in the dark. Every closed door is asking you a question: will you crumble because the world said no, or will you build something so powerful that the world has no choice but to notice? Rejection is the fire that burns off the parts of you that were pretending. It removes everything false until all that remains is purpose. The pain of rejection is the birthplace of resilience. Every no you face teaches you how to fight harder, think deeper, and trust yourself more fiercely. You begin to realize that the doors that shut were never yours to begin with. What belongs to you will open when you are ready, not when you beg for it. So let the rejection come, let it sting, let it humble you, let it push you, because in the silence that follows a closed door, another one is already creaking open, one that leads exactly where you were always meant to go. Confidence is not handed to you. It is earned in the dark when no one is watching. It's born from the moments when you've been beaten down, ignored, and underestimated, yet you still find the strength to stand up again. Real confidence doesn't come from victory, it comes from survival. It's what remains after everything you thought defined you is stripped away and you still refuse to quit. It's the steel that forms in your soul after walking through fire and realizing you're still standing. The world loves to celebrate success but forgets the silence that builds it. People see the shine but not the struggle, the applause but not the doubt. Confidence grows in those hidden spaces where fear screams the loudest and you still choose to move forward. It's the decision to keep creating, to keep building, to keep showing up even when nobody believes in you. That's where true confidence takes root, in defiance, not in comfort. You can't borrow it, you can't fake it, and you can't buy it. You have to fight for it. Every setback, every failure, every rejection becomes a forge for confidence. When life hits you hard and you don't break, something inside you changes. You stop needing permission to exist boldly. You start realizing that the same pressure meant to crush you is the reason you can now carry weight others can't. Confidence doesn't whisper, it roars quietly in your actions. It's not arrogance, it's knowing you've been tested by chaos and proven capable. It's built on the scars that remind you of everything you survived. Confidence is not loud, it's grounded. It doesn't need to announce itself because it's not seeking approval. The loudest person in the room is often the most fragile one. True confidence moves with calm precision, with the certainty of someone who has already fought their demons and won. It's silent, focused, and unshackable. The person who has learned to stand alone no longer fears being misunderstood. They've realized that understanding from others isn't required for their mission to continue. You build confidence every time you choose to rise instead of retreat, every time you speak truth instead of silence, every time you walk forward with trembling hands but steady purpose. That's the kind of power the world can't take away because it wasn't given by the world in the first place. Confidence is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to act in spite of it. It's the voice that says, I've been through worse and I'm still here. That is what makes you unstoppable. Creation born from comfort is forgettable, but creation born from pain carries power. When everything inside you feels shattered, that is when you must build. When your voice shakes, speak anyway. When your hands tremble, create anyway. The act of making something from your suffering is rebellion. It's defiance against the forces that tried to silence you. You take what was meant to destroy you and turn it into something that speaks. That is how art, purpose, and legacy are born. You can't wait for perfect timing because it doesn't exist. You can't wait until you're healed to express what's breaking you. the world doesn't need polished masks, it needs raw truth. Creation in the middle of pain is not weakness, it's honesty. It's showing the world your humanity without filters, without performance. What you make in the darkness carries a pulse that people can feel because it's real. The most powerful work doesn't come from peace, it comes from the storm. Every scar is a story, and stories heal when they're told. Creation is the way pain becomes purpose. When you pour your struggle into something tangible, you stop being a victim of it. You turn suffering into structure, chaos into clarity. Your voice becomes a vessel for everything you once thought you had to hide. People connect not to perfection, but to the courage of someone who turns their wounds into wisdom. That's why your story matters, not because it's flawless, but because it's true. There will be days when you like nothing you make is enough, when your work feels unseen, unappreciated, or misunderstood. But keep going. The purpose of creation is not applause, it's release. What you create is not always meant to be loved. Sometimes it's just meant to exist. Sometimes the act of creating is the victory itself. You're not doing it for approval. You're doing it to stay alive, to give shape to the pain that would otherwise consume you. So keep building, keep writing, keep painting, keep shaping something out of the pieces that once broke you. Every word, every beat, every line is proof that you refuse to stay silent. Creation is your weapon against despair, your answer to loss, your statement that you are still here. Don't hide your pain, transform it, make something from it that outlives the moment it came from. Because in the end, the art born from hurt becomes the light that guides others out of their own darkness. They will call you crazy before they call you great. They will doubt your vision before they ever understand it. The world has always feared what it can't explain, and it will try to shrink you until you fit into its comfort zone. But vision doesn't come to the ordinary. It arrives like lightning, uninvited, unpredictable, undeniable. The ones who carry it are forced to walk through storms of laughter and disbelief. You have to be willing to be misunderstood, even hated, to protect the fire that burns inside you, because the moment you dim it to make others comfortable, you lose what made you different in the first place. They will mock you not because you're wrong, but because you're early. The world clings to the familiar, and when you introduce something new, it shakes their sense of order. They'll label you as reckless, delusional, arrogant, all the words they use when they're afraid of change. But the truth is, every person who ever changed the world was first told they were out of their mind. Innovation doesn't ask for permission, it demands sacrifice. You'll have to walk through years of rejection before people see what you saw from the start. Being misunderstood is the cost of seeing what others can't. You'll talk about ideas no one believes in yet, chase dreams that look impossible, and stand in rooms where no one claps. But that's where your strength is built. Every time someone doubts you, it sharpens your resolve. Every time someone laughs, it pushes you further. You start realizing that validation is a trap and acceptance is too small for a mind that was built to disrupt. You stop chasing approval and start chasing truth. There will come a moment when the same people who dismissed you start quoting you. The same voices that called you insane will suddenly call you genius. But by then, you won't need their praise. You'll have already learned that greatness doesn't need witnesses, it just needs conviction. What makes visionaries dangerous is not their talent, but their refusal to surrender to disbelief. You have to stay relentless even when your path looks like madness to everyone else. So let them laugh, let them doubt, let them whisper. Their confusion is proof that you're building something bigger than their understanding. History doesn't remember the ones who played it safe. It remembers the ones who were willing to be ridiculed for what they believed in. Keep walking through the noise. Keep trusting the vision. Keep building what they can't yet see. Because when the dust settles and the world finally catches up, they'll realize you weren't crazy. You were just first. Anyone can look strong when the world is watching, when the cameras are on, when the lights hit just right. But strength isn't proven in the spotlight. It's proven in the shadows. Who are you when there's no audience to impress? no crowd to applaud, no one to notice your effort. That's when truth reveals itself. That's when discipline and character either stand tall or crumble. The dark is where identity is tested, when it's just your failures, and the voice inside that dares you to keep going. The quiet hours, the sleepless nights, the moments no one talks about, those are the times that shape you. When there's no motivation left, only grit. When you're drained, uncertain, and tempted to give up, that's when the weak walk away and the strong rise. Success is not made in moments of comfort. It's forged in isolation. You either find yourself in that silence or you get lost in it. The unseen struggle is the birthplace of mastery, and those who survive it emerge unstoppable. When no one is watching, you learn the value of integrity. You start to understand that real power doesn't come from recognition, it comes from resilience. The ability to keep your word when it no longer benefits you. The strength to keep working even when nobody notices. That's the line that separates dreamers from doers, talkers from builders. The ones who train in the dark walk differently when the light finally finds them. They move with certainty because they know what it took to stand there. Discipline in the dark builds confidence in the light. Every repetition, every failed attempt, every quiet hour spent perfecting your craft when no one cared, those are the bricks that build your empire. People see the finished product and call it luck, but they didn't see the nights you bled for it. They didn't hear the battles you fought in silence. The world glorifies results, but results mean nothing without the story behind them. The dark doesn't hide your progress. It protects it until you're ready to reveal it. So don't fear the darkness, embrace it. That's where greatness is carved. That's where you build the kind of strength that doesn't fade when pressure hits. The spotlight exposes what the shadows prepared. Every hour spent unseen, every moment of doubt conquered, every small victory earned in solitude becomes the foundation for the legacy you're building. Because the true test of who you are isn't what you show the world, it's what you do when the world isn't watching. Stop chasing the definitions that the world tries to hand you. The system was not built for originals, it was built to mass produce copies. From the moment you start breathing, the world tells you what to wear, what to think, what to dream, and how to behave. But real power comes when you decide that none of those rules apply to you. You weren't made to blend in with the noise, you were made to cut through it. The mold you're told to fit into is too small for the size of your purpose. The moment you stop trying to please everyone is the moment you start becoming who you truly are. Every time you break the pattern, you threaten the comfort of those who've chosen to stay small. That's why they'll criticize you, label you, and try to bring you back into their frame. But creation doesn't come from conformity, it comes from chaos. Greatness is born when you step outside the borderlines that keep others safe. People will call it arrogance when you refuse to shrink, but that's only because your boldness exposes their fear. You're not meant to be understood, you're meant to be felt. The world doesn't change through imitation, it changes through disruption. The ones who break molds are the ones who build movements. Every revolution started with someone who refused to follow the script. You have to be willing to risk being alone for a while because originality is a lonely road at first. The crowd will only understand after you've already built what they couldn't imagine. Until then, you walk by faith, not validation. You don't need permission to be different, you just need the courage to stay that way. When failure cracks your frame, that's not destruction, it's exposure. It's the light forcing its way through the walls you built trying to fit in. The breaking is necessary because that's where truth escapes. Every fall, every rejection, every mistake strips away another layer of pretense until what's left is real. You start to see that your flaws are not flaws at all, they're fingerprints of authenticity. The parts that don't fit the mold are the very pieces that make your voice impossible to replace. Breaking the mold is not rebellion for its own sake, it's alignment with your design. You're not defying the world to prove something, you're reclaiming what's already yours. The frame they gave you was too tight for the size of your vision. let it crack, let it fall apart, build something raw, something bold, something true to your essence. Because when you stop fitting in, you finally start standing out. And the world always remembers the ones who refuse to be contained. When failure tears everything apart, it doesn't end your story. It reveals the doorway that was waiting for you all along. The door that was hidden behind every disappointment, every mistake, every night you thought you couldn't continue. It's not a door anyone else can see or open because it's built from your specific pain, your specific journey. Every fall you took was a piece of the key. Every time you stood up again, you shaped it. And when the moment comes, when life breaks you just enough to strip away your fear, that door appears not as an escape, but as an entrance into the person you were meant to become. That door never opens easily. It demands everything from you, your pride, your comfort, your excuses. It forces you to walk through raw and real, stripped of all pretenses. The people who fear failure never reach it because they spend their lives guarding walls that were never supposed to protect them. You can't step into the next level carrying the weight of the last one. You must let go. You must burn what no longer serves you. And you must have the courage to walk through the unknown without proof of what's on the other side. Every time you rise from failure, you gain a new set of eyes. You stop seeing the world as something that happens to you and start seeing it as something you can shape. The door opens not with force, but with understanding. It doesn't lead to comfort. It leads to challenge, growth, and creation. And when you walk through it, you start realizing that failure was never the opposite of success. It was the architect of it. The cracks in your path were not signs of weakness. They were the blueprints for the foundation of your greatness. Once you step through that door, everything changes. The noise of the world grows distant because you're no longer chasing validation. You're chasing purpose. You no longer fear being misunderstood because you've already faced what it feels like to lose everything and still move forward. You become unstoppable not because you're perfect, but because you're unbreakable. The door transforms your pain into power, your doubt into drive, your scars into symbols of resilience. So when the next failure comes, and it will, don't run from it. Don't curse it. Look closer. That crack, that collapse, that moment where everything falls apart might just be the beginning of everything that was meant for you. The right door only appears to those who have fallen enough times to recognize it. Walk through it without hesitation, because beyond it lies not just a new opportunity, but the version of yourself you were always meant to meet. So when failure shows up, don't curse it, thank it, because that's life's way of handing you your coordinates. You weren't made to sit safely behind the doors everyone else walks through. You were made to find the one that only opens for those who refuse to quit. Remember this, the door to greatness doesn't have a handle on the outside. It opens from within.